Check two. Let's get it going, man.
Well, good evening, ladies and gentlemen. Welcome to our first livestock show. This evening here is going to be the junior breeding show in the swine division. Our judge here this evening is Brayton Kimball from Hydro, Oklahoma. Before we get started this evening, we'll first ask our Berkshires to please make your way to the makeup pen. Ladies and gentlemen, please direct your attention to the center of the arena and rise for our national anthem.
Where'd you go? Right there.
Right here.
There's my phone. Turn it on right there.
Okay, perfect. Thank you.
Little classes moving up west.
Thank you, ladies and gentlemen. Again, this is the junior breeding portion of our show this evening. Our first division will be the Berkshires. We're looking for 6 entries in 3 different classes. In Class 1, we have 2 entries with the birth year of March of this year. In our second class, we have 1 exhibitor born in February of this year. And in our third class, we have 3 exhibitors born in January of this year. Those exhibitors are making their way into the makeup pen at this time. Again, our judge this evening is Brayton Kimball from Hydro, Oklahoma. Berkshires, please make your way into the makeup pen. We are ready to get started. The breed champions in our guild show this evening, breed champions and reserve breed champion banners are sponsored by CKL Spots. Those are the breed champion, reserve breed champion banners for all of our breeds here this evening. Banners sponsored by CKL Spots. Where'd I?
Well, good evening first and foremost, and thank you guys for having me out here. It's a cool privilege for me to get to come out here and study you guys' hogs and work with some of your kiddos. Being down the road, I've always heard great things out of this county, and obviously when we do team up and show together, or show against each other, I should say, at OYE, you guys have certainly always made a strong showing at the big shows, and so it's exciting for me to get to step in the ring. Irrespective of numbers today, we're going to have a great time, and I expect everything to go smooth and the kiddos to have plenty of fun. The young man right here told me that both of these Burt gilts are sisters here, and I can see that. I think both of the gilts have plenty of structural integrity, got plenty of reach and flexibility and range of motion. Certain differences between the two. One of them comes at me a little fresher centered. I like her rib shape and just her center body dimension a little better. Young man right in front of me is going to win this particular class. Young man on the far side is going to go second. If you guys would, put your hands together for a phenomenal job.
First place out of Class 1, Jordan McBain, representing Mustang 4H. In second place, congratulations to Harper McBain, representing Mustang 4H. We're now ready to move on to Class 2, looking for one exhibitor born in the month of February. Class 3, looking for 3 exhibitors. Please be checking in, standing by in the makeup pen.
Young man brings us a single entry Burt gilt here, one that I think could certainly stand some competition, starting at her skull shape. I love the way that gilt looks ahead of her blade there, has a boxy image, but still does so with plenty of reach and comfort and flexibility as she gets out here. This surface is really neat to me. It's going to be forgiving, but I can still see all the toes that I need to. Burt gilt's very agile and athletic. Congratulations to that young man.
First place out of Class 2, Evan Hinkle, representing Yukon FFA. Now ready to move on to Class number 3, looking for 3 exhibitors. These entries born in the month of January.
A good trio of gilts that all certainly have their differences out here. The one I'm the most comfortable with is a young lady in the pink shirt here to go ahead and get us started. Thought it got close between her and another gilt that's out here. And when it come down to it, I typically pick them a little stouter when the pair gets tight. In this case, structure is going to win the battle for me. I like the skeleton of our class winner better, laid back and comfortable about her blade and knee. She organizes her hip and her hind leg in a safer square assembly as you step right behind them. A good design gilt. Again, not going to call her the most powerful one. That's where the young lady in the black shirt is driving the stouter option of the two. And that one's going to end up in 2 for me. She comes at you wider chested than our class winner, bolder as you get to the top side of her skeleton. I love all those things about her. It's just when you study her structurally, she wants to hinge up a little tighter in the center portion of her spine. It's because she gets a little too steep in the set to her hip. I got to square and coordinate her hawk as she drives right away from me, especially on her back right there. But a good stout one that's got different intangibles than our class winner. Young lady rounds us out with one that I do think sounder and square than the gilt we just talked about. A good project for this young lady. Late maturing, good in terms of look and extension, square and hard in terms of her back shape on the top side of her skeleton. Just got to give her more groceries and center skeleton and just a little more time on feed to fluff up and compete with the 2 right ahead of her. Good class, so congratulations to all 3.
The results out of class number 3, first place, congratulations to Cheyenne Stuckey, representing Yukon City FFA. In second place, Hannah Hinkle, representing Yukon FFA. And in third place, Piper Hussman, representing Mustang 4H. We're now showing for breed champion and reserve. This is our first call for our Chester White. We have 1 class. Chester White, we have 1 class. Please make your way into the makeup pen at this time.
Well, again, pleased with all 3 of the gilts that we have out here. It comes down between a pair of them for me, and again, some differences between the 2. I do think both gilts are similar in terms of how they balance up in proportion from the side. Both gilts are sound and fundamental and very correct. The one that I like the best, maybe a little swollen right there in her right hawk, but man, it doesn't hinder her mobility. And then between the 2, she's just got more hog in her center and upper blade, her center body cavity, and especially she powers back into her hip and her pin bone there. Young man from class 2 is going to be champion. Young lady out of class 3 is going to be reserved. Congratulations to both. Good job, buddy.
I'll have to get my other people.
Your champion, Berkshire, is out of Class 2. Evan Hinkle, representing Yukon FFA. Reserve champion comes out of Class 3. Cheyenne Stuckey, representing Union City FFA. We're now ready to move on to our Chester White. We have 1 class. In this class, these gilts are born in the month of February. Poland, China, please be checking in, and spots, please be checking in at in the makeup pen in the entry gate area. We're now showing 1 class in Chester White.
Just two Chester gilts out here, but two gilts that I'm fond of. I think both gilts, as you start them from foundation up, are built good. They're built the way that I want them to. They're stout, they're opened up, and then still good in terms of their center skeleton, and very pliable and flexible as they get out here and get them going. I think between the two, there's one gilt that's just a little more elevated at the point of her blade. She comes back a little longer and square there out of her hip. She's more genuine in her composition, and I mean that in terms of shape right behind her blade, shape back out of her hip and her lower stifle there. Young man right in front of me is going to have your champion. The young lady right here to my right is going to have reserve. Congratulations to both.
Well, results in the Chester White breed. In first place, and your champion goes to Jordan McBain, representing Mustang 4H. The reserve champion, McKinley Butler, representing Mustang 4H. We're now ready to reset the arena, looking for 2 entries in one class of Poland China. 2 entries in one class in Poland China. Our spots, please be checking in the makeup pen, and Yorkshire, please be checking in the makeup pen, and your light cross. Please be checking in the makeup pen. Now showing one class, Poland China.
Again, just 2 entries here, but couldn't be more polar opposite in terms of their type and kind as you get them out here and just kind of break them apart and study them. Individually, young lady's right in front of me has one that's late maturing, tall and extended and picked up and elevated, a strong-footed gilt that gets out and goes very, very comfortable out of her hip and her hind leg there. A gilt that's not going to blow you away in terms of center body dimension and just power and maybe substance all the way through, but a good look and good balance, good structured one. The young man has one over there that's a totally different version, a wide, stout one that's boxy ribbed and huge when you get on the top side of her skeleton. To me, she's got to be a little square as she goes right away. She wants to post up in the angle of her hock there and then step too far outside the bounds of her skeleton. And so that's the difference as I see. I'm going to let hind leg and just hip structure and maturity pattern win the pair. Young lady's going to be champion. Young man on the far side is going to be reserved. Congratulations to both.
Your results in Poland China in first place, and your champion goes to McKinley Butler, representing Mustang 4H. In second place, and also your reserve champion in Poland China, is Declan Grubbs, representing Maple 4H. We're now ready to move on to spots, looking for 2 exhibitors in one class. These exhibitors have gilts born in the month of January. Following this class, we will move right into Yorkshire. We're looking for 1 entry in Yorkshire. Following Yorkshire, we have 2 classes of light cross. Yorkshire and light cross, please be checking in the makeup pen at this time.
After Yorkshire.
A good pair of them that we have here for our spot show. The young man right here on my right with the loud mark gilt is going to be your champion gilt. One that just hit me awfully hard. First impression, her maturity pattern in tandem with her stoutness of feature I thought was very, very intriguing. The look that she has ahead of her blade to still be that boxy centered and then still so square and comfortable. As she goes right away from you, I thought a gilt that had a lot of neat intangibles that needs to go ahead and win. Young lady drives our reserve out, and that's one, again, is late maturing. She's picked up and elevated at the point of her blade, really, really long and square there out of her hip, and things I can really appreciate into her. Didn't read her with as much stoutness, and especially feature-wise as we compare to our champion. Good pair of them, though. Congratulations to both those kiddos.
In spots, your champion goes to Evan Hinkle, representing Yukon FFA. Reserve champion Cadence Keller, representing Mustang FFA. We've got one entry now in Yorkshire, one entry, born in the month of January.
A lone entry gilt here, but one that certainly has a lot of value to her. I think even respected within this population. Real square in terms of her edge right behind her blade there, and all the way back out of her hip. A good-looking gilt. It's attractive when she gets out and drives profile. One that's plenty sound, plenty functional, and square. Congratulations to that young lady.
Your champion Yorkshire is Kyla Bonds, representing Mustang FFA. We're now going to bring back our champions for Purebred Supreme. Our champion in the junior breeding Berkshire was Evan Hinkle. Our champion in Chester White, Jordan McBain. Our champion, Poland China, McKinley Butler. Champion Spot, Evan Hinkle. Champion Yorkshire, Kyla Bonds. Reserve champions, please be standing by. Reserve champions, please be standing by. Let's have our reserve champions in our breeding gilts be standing by. Our reserve champion in Berkshire was Cheyenne Stuckey. The reserve champion in Chester White was McKinley Butler. Reserve champion in Poland China was Declan Grubbs. Reserve champion in spots, Cadence Keller. There was no reserve champion in Yorkshire. Those reserve champions, please be standing by.
I think irrespective of numbers, we've got a lot of quality represented out here for the Purebred Guild Show, and a couple of different things I think that you could do as you step out here and evaluate them. In my mind, it gets close between a pair of them, and you have to sort the differences between them. There's one of them that comes at you, a little square chest, and just leaves you extremely good in terms of her impression. Her rear column of bone is extremely good, and then the other one that's out here in contention with her is just so waspy ahead of her blade, and I think within her respective population, her skull shape is intriguing. Her amount of square shape and expression on the top side of her skeleton hit me awfully good. Still does it on a very, very functional build. That's the one I think has the most unique pieces. Young man's Berkshire is going to be your supreme. Good job, buddy.
Your supreme champion is Berkshire. Evan Hinkle, representing Yukon FFA, will be looking for our reserve champion Berkshire Cheyenne Stuckey to please enter the arena.
When you bring the reserve Burke in, I think she certainly gets out here and fixing the mix with a couple of them. Again, I thought it was close for champion. The other one that was in contention is one that I thought was a shot staler in terms of her composition and back shape compared to our champion, but one that I think is flawless in terms of her design from the side, her structural base, her stoutness of feature in tandem with maturity pattern would make me the most excited if I had to take one home and breed on him. Young lady with the spot's going to end up being reserved. Congratulations to her.
Reserve Supreme Champion comes out of our spot division. That is Evan Hinkle representing Yukon FFA. We'll have those two exhibitors please be standing by for the end of our gilt show. We're now ready to move on to our light cross. We have two classes in our light cross. First class looking for two exhibitors in the weight class of 198 to 207. We have one exhibitor in class number 2, weight 220.
I think as we start into our light cross guild show, again, a good pair of them that we have out here. And to be honest, you could flip them either way you want to, and I could listen to either argument because I think they both have their positives within this class, and I think they both have their differences. The one I'm most comfortable with is the young ladies back behind me to go ahead and win this class. I thought of the pair, that was the better looking one that just holds such a wild image right there ahead of her blade. Jawline, hair, and back shape is extreme in this gilt. I wish she was a little softer centered. She's a little too flat-sided for me, and that's what I think makes the pair close, but I still think her hip and hind leg assembly, when it does collect itself, is freer and just more secure than what we have in the young man's blue rumped gilt here in second. Young man, you do a great job with the blue rumped gilt. She is fresher centered than our class winner. She is bolder ribbed, and I love those things about her. I got to make her go a little better out of her hip and her hind leg. She wants to get a little tied up out of both ends of her structure there, but a good class, good pair of them. Congratulations to both.
Class 1, first place, congratulations to Kyla Bonds, representing Mustang FFA. In second place, Knox Putnam, representing Mustang 4H. We're now ready to move ahead to class number 2, looking for one exhibitor. We have 5 classes in dark cross. Those exhibitors should be thinking about it. We're making their way to the makeup pen at this time. We're now showing in class 2 of our light cross.
A single entry gilt, one that I think is intriguing to study. There's a world of power into this blue gilt here. A stout, boxy critter. When she comes at you, you get on the top side of her skeleton, way opened up, way stout, but still has a neat jawline and just a cool look right there ahead of her blade. Does a lot of neat things and still gets out and goes with plenty of reach and comfort. Congratulations to that young lady.
Your class winner out of class number 2 is Hannah Hinkle, representing Yukon FFA. We're now ready for our champion and reserve light cross.
This is a neat pair to study, and I think both gilts are on the opposite ends of the spectrum of where they're at, and they're both wild and extreme in some areas that I think is just fun to look at and fun to study. You're not going to get 10 out of 10 guys to come agree on which one needs to be placed over the other one out here, and so what it comes down to for me, if I had to take one of these gilts home and manage them and push them on further down the road to Tulsa, or even just where they're at today, if I had to take them home and breed on one, which one would I do that in? And I think there's one that's just a little safer in terms of her structure. She's not as out there and wide. She's one that just gets out and goes with more reach and range of motion. I like the young ladies Class 1 to be champion. Congratulations to her.
Champion lacrosse comes out of class number 1, Kyla Bonds, representing Mustang FFA. We're looking for Knox Putnam to enter the arena, please.
The young man brings a good second place entry out, and one that, again, we talked about in that class. That gilt does have more center body shape and dimension. That's the cage that I'm looking for in these females, no doubt. But then you get her out here in the mix with the other one, and she's just as powerful, just as boxy, just as good centered. I thought there was one of them that pushed our champion just a little closer. I like the young ladies Class 2 to stay reserved. Congratulations to her.
Thank you.
Good job.
Reserve champion lacrosse comes out of class number 2, Hannah Hinkle, representing Yukon FFA. Have our champion reserve be standing by for Supreme Commercial. We're now ready for our dark cross. We have 5 classes in our dark cross. In class number 1, we have 1 exhibitor in show weight class of 166. Class number 2 has 4 exhibitors. Please be checking in. Class number 3 has 3 entries. Right now, we're ready to start showing on class number 1, dark cross with 1 exhibitor.
The young man said he liked his odds of winning the class, and I do too. A fun way to start our dark cross gilt show. A gilt that's got a neat look as you study her from profile. She still has a big forearm and a big set of feet and legs on her. A gilt that obviously just needs some more time on feed to flesh and fill out a little bit, but a good project for that young man down the road. Congratulations to him.
First place out of class 1, Deacon Major, representing Maple 4H. We're ready now for class number 2, weight class of 198 through 212, looking for 4 exhibitors. Class number 3, weight class of 223 to 233, 3 exhibitors. Class number 4 has 2 exhibitors, and class number 5 has 2 exhibitors. Please be standing by at the makeup pin. We're now showing class number 2. Again, weight class of 198 to 212.
Well, a fun class to put together, and a class that you have to make some tough decisions on. I thought it got really close in the top pair of these, to be completely honest, and there's some trade-offs. Ultimately land on the flash-belted gilt here to go ahead and start us. I thought compared to the one that goes in two, she's fresher and a look right ahead of her blade, and especially at the top side of her neck, she draws back longer and square and leveler out of her hip. It allows her to reach and grab with a bit more flexibility, a bit more comfort, and a bit more squareness as you step right behind them. Just a very, very fresh back gilt that's good looking, awesome centered, and very, very flexible as she gets out here. Our class winner, where she needs to, or where she could get beat by the gilt that goes in second, is when they drive right at you. Young lady's narrow-belted gilt has a bigger view right at you. She's square in terms of her knee. She's got more bulk in her center and upper blade. She's stronger-footed than our class winner, and I love this gilt center skeleton where I got to fix her, and I just thought compared to our winner, she gets a little shorter out of her hip. She wants to post just a little straighter in the angle to her hock there as she drives right away from me. A good gilt, though, nonetheless, to be sitting in two. Between 3 and 4, another tough decision. I thought both of these gilts patterned up similar in terms of their power and their muscle that they bring out here. The Mark gilt ultimately is a little softer centered. I was more comfortable with where she's at structurally and angle-wise than what we had sitting in 4. Young lady rounds us out with one that, again, very, very expressive on the top side of her skeleton. A very stout gilt that just needs more bend and cushion off both ends of her skeleton. Good class, so congratulations to all 4.
Your results are the class number 2, first place. Congratulations to Josie Felton, representing El Reno FFA. In second place, Merritt Major, representing Maple 4H. In third place, Gabby Nafa, representing Union City FFA. And in fourth place, Cadence Keller, representing Mustang FFA. We're ready to move forward to class number 3, weight class of 223 to 233. Looking for 3 exhibitors in class number 3. Class number 4 has 2 entries. Class number 5 has 2 entries. Please be standing by in the makeup pen. Now showing class number 3.
A cool trio of gilts, and in my mind, maturity pattern, look, balance, and structure favors the chromed up gilt on the far side of the ring that goes ahead and wins this particular class. Compared to what we have in second and third, I prefer her hip structure where her hind leg sets into her. Not going to say she reaches the furthest, but it stays square behind her as she drives right away from you than the gilt that we have in second. Thought she was a little fresher centered as well. Gilt comes out in second with some wild intangibles. I love the shape of her skull. She's got a neat, cute little jawline on her for a gilt that's got that much stoutness and just rugged power from there back. A massive forearm weight in that gilt, awesome amount of back shape. Again, one that we got to freshen up the center skeleton of as you get right behind her blade. I thought she posted a little straighter in her hock and got a little outside herself as she goes right away from me. Sandy colored gilt rounds out the class and a gilt that, again, is good in terms of maturity pattern, tall, extended kind of a gilt. Doesn't have the same just back shape and presence and stoutness out here as the 2 right ahead of her. Good class, though. Congratulations to all those exhibitors. Good job, bud.
Your results are the class number 3, first place. Congratulations to Madeline Whitman, representing Maple 4H. In second place, congratulations to Cadence Keller, representing Mustang FFA. In third place, Gabby Mofa, representing Union City FFA. We're now ready to move forward to class number 4, looking for 2 exhibitors, weight class of 243 to 250. Following class 4, we have 2 entries in class number 5.
Again, a good pair of them that we have out here, polar opposites in types and kinds. One that's more my speed is the young lady's wide belted gilt right in front of me. Fresher centered option of the two that's got more power and bulk as you get in the middle portion of her body. A gilt that just has so much spread. As she comes at you, you know, the top side of her skeleton and watch her go right away. She's got more just total mass and dimension comparative to the young man's that ends up in 2. Young man ends up in 2 with a good looking gilt that's just jet fronted and absolutely elevated up to the front third of her body. One that stays strong down her back line, level out of her hip, one that as you step right into her, she didn't quite have the rib shape, didn't quite have the substance of our class winner. A good pair of them though, congratulations to both.
Your results are the class number 4, first place, and congratulations to Cheyenne Stuckey, representing Union City FFA, exhibiting her animal in the weight of 243. In second place, also Cheyenne Stuckey, representing Union City FFA, that second place animal's weight of 250. We're now ready to move on to class number 5, looking for 2 exhibitors in class number 5, weight class of 267 to 278. We're now showing class number 5 in Dark Cross. This is your first call for your champion and reserve in the light cross class. Champion and reserve, please make your way to the makeup pin for Supreme Commercial Gilt.
A really high quality pair of gilts that you have out here, and opposite in kind. And truthfully for me, just to tell you the big facts, bulk and horsepower wins the pair. The young man right in the center of the ring drives a gilt that's just stouter. Everywhere you study her, starts at her mug and her jawline there. She's a tough-headed gilt. It just looks like she has a great time at the feeder. Awesome rib cage laid into her. She gets out and goes comfy in her movement from the side. Not going to call her perfect-footed. I wish I could fix her front feet. I want to square her up behind. I just didn't think we had a square-footed option sitting in 2 to justify getting too critical there. A good gilt that's very, very stout and powerful. Young lady drives a gilt in second. That's probably a little sportier looking, especially up ahead of her blade. She's neater about her jawline with that. She's just a little slicker headed comparatively. She's not quite as big footed. And again, I want to square up where she sets her front feet, strengthen her front toes, and then just coordinate her better from her hock down as you study her rear skeleton there. But again, a good gilt, probably has more look than our class winner. Didn't have the same kind of stoutness. A cool pair though. Congratulations to both.
Your results are the class number 5, first place. Congratulations to Evan Hinkle, representing Yukon FFA. In second place, congratulations to Hannah Hinkle, representing Yukon FFA. We're now ready for our champion and reserve dart cross. It's your second call for champion and reserve light cross division. Champion and reserve light cross. Please check in at the makeup pen. Please check in at the makeup pen. Champion Kyla Bonds, reserve champion Hannah Hinkle. This is first call for Supreme Purebred and Reserve Supreme Purebred. First call, please make your way to the makeup pen.
Well, it's been an awesome dart cross guild show and fun to get out here and study them and then figure out which one's your favorite as they get out here for champion. I love all of our class winners for certain reasons in different areas, and I'm still totally okay with that. I think all these guilds are built right in terms of foundation, and from there up are built acceptable more or less. I think it gets close between a pair of them in my mind, and the way I see it, just to tell you the differences, one of them is big, stout, and ready to rumble and ready to go, and is just so opened up, and I still think she powers up and gets out flexible when you study it from the side profile. Talk to her in class. Maybe not perfect off her front feet, maybe not quite square and as coordinated as I want to see one as you step right behind them. Then you compare her back to the gilt that I think she's also in contention with, another gilt that's just so good looking and so fresh. On the top side of her skeleton and near flawless in terms of her hip and her hind leg design. Neither gilt's perfect structured, and one gilt's a little stouter, one gilt's a little better looking. There's size difference, but I still think when you get this certain gilt to the size of the other one, she's going to do it in a better looking fashion with a safer sounder hind leg. The young lady right in front of me is going to be champion. Congratulations to her.
Champion dart cross comes out of class number 2, Josie Felton, representing El Reno FFA.
Young lady brings a second place out of that class, and again, I thought that pair was awful close, and it still is. As they get out here, certainly fits in the mix for reserve. That gilt looks like a bear maker to me, to be honest with you. Bulky in terms of her center skeleton. I love the curve she has behind her blade, and then you go on the top side of her, and she's fresh in terms of her top side shape. Again, compared to our winner, didn't think she was quite as elite looking ahead of her blade or at the top side of her neck. She still needs to get out and go just a little more flexible out of her hock there. I thought it gets awfully close for reserve between her and another one of them out here. There's another one that I think is just undeniable as she gets out here in terms of power and in terms of generating potential of what she could do. I like the young man's heavy to stay reserve. Congratulations to him.
Your reserve champion comes out of class number 5, Evan Hinkle, representing Yukon FFA. We'll reset the arena here. Now we're ready for our Supreme Commercial. Champion out of light cross, Kyla Bonds. Champion out of dark cross, Josie Felton. Your reserve champion light cross is Hannah Hinkle, be standing by. Reserve champion dark cross, Evan Hinkle, be standing by. This is your second call for Supreme Champion and Supreme Reserve Champion Purebred. Please be checking in at the makeup pen. Please check in at the makeup pen.
I think a good pair of them, and they actually kind of have some similarities. You study them profile out here, and that's definitely not a bad thing. There's one of them that just hit me awfully hard right out of the gate, and a gilt that I think's got an awful bright future. We'll have to watch her front feet just a shade. I still like the young lady's dark cross to win. Congratulations to her.
Supreme Champion is Josie Felton with a dark cross, representing El Reno FFA. Reserve Champion dark cross, Evan Hinkle, you may enter the arena.
I liked our champion a good deal. I think the decision for reserve gets a nickel closer. I said it earlier in class, and when it's acceptable, me as a judge, I kind of lean toward fortune favors the bold. I like them a little stouter once we get them built right. And I think when you study these two, there's one of them that's just so bulky and just has so much power, but still handles it correct from profile. Young man's dark cross is going to stay reserve. Congratulations to him.
Reserve Supreme Commercial comes out of our dark cross, Evan Hinkle, representing Yukon FFA. We're now ready for Grand Champion overall gilt. Your Supreme Champion came out of the Berkshires, Evan Hinkle, representing Yukon FFA. Your Supreme Commercial came out of the Dark Cross, Josie Felton, representing El Reno FFA. Reserve Supreme Champions in the commercial and in the purebred, please be standing by. Grand Champion Gilt Belt Buckle, sponsored by Beard Farms. The Reserve Grand Champion Gilt Buckle is sponsored by the Piedmont Veterinary Clinic. Following the selection of our Grand and Reserve Grand Champion Gilt, we will pause for no more than 5 minutes, reset for our Barrow show. We'll pause for 5 minutes following the selection of our Grand and Reserve Grand Champion Gilt. We're now ready for Grand Reserve, your supreme purebred Berkshire, representing Yukon FFA. Your supreme commercial came out of Dark Cross, Josie Felton, representing El Reno FFA.
I think it's fun to get both gilts back out of their respective divisions, purebred versus crossbred here, and just study them part for part and compare them back to where they're at in the world, not necessarily just in the show ring. I think both of these gilts, in their respective population, at any stage, any level, would certainly compete and do very, very well. I know numbers don't mean anything to me. I'm here to tell you the gilt show was very, very competitive, especially at the top end of these classes, and it's exactly what I expected. As I traveled down here today, I've talked these things long enough in class, and I know I probably have talked them too long. When it comes time for champion, you simply get to put the mic down and go pick your favorite. You guys have heard the differences. I like the dark cross. Congratulations, that young lady.
Grand champion Josie Felton, representing El Reno FFA, comes out of your Dark Cross commercial. Reserve Supreme Champion now entering the arena, that is Evan Hinkle, representing Yukon FFA.
In my personal opinion, I thought that the decision for Grand was kind of a no-brainer in my personal head, and so deciding for reserve, I think it gets awful close. I think both of these gilts would be fun to take home and try your hand at breeding them, and I think both of them could do big things in terms of just generating potential and generating value. The one that I see just the most upside in, or the one that gets me the most fired up, and that would be the most fired up to take home, would be the young man's Dark Cross. Congratulations to him.
Reserve Grand Champion Gilt, also our Dark Cross. Congratulations to Evan Hinkle, representing Yukon FFA. Once again, your Grand Champion Gilt Belt Buckle is sponsored by Beard Farms. Reserve Grand Champion Gilt Belt Buckle is sponsored by Piedmont Veterinary Clinic. Congratulations to all of our gilt exhibitors this evening. We will pause for just a couple of minutes and reset for our Barrow show. Our barrels be getting ready. We only have 13 total exhibitors. We have 1 entry in the Berkshire, 2 entries in 1 class in Chester White, 2 entries in 1 class in Hampshire, 1 entry in 1 class in Yorkshire, 3 entries in 3 separate classes in Light Cross, 4 total entries in 2 classes in Dark Cross. Please be getting your barrels ready. We'll return back to you in less than 5 minutes. have a Stone Age Showmanship update. This class will take place after the... This class will take place after Showmanship. Once again, ladies and gentlemen, our junior, intermediate, and senior showman champions will be the judges of the Stone Age Showmanship. These exhibitors have been nominated to enter in the Stone Age Showmanship in the Swine division this evening. Sean McBain, Troy Stevens, Evan Bruce, Jaden Bishop, Terry Harland, Mr. Major, Jim Bob Carson, Mr. McGill, and Derek Pearson. These are your entries as of right now for the Swine Stone Age Showmanship to be held immediately following our showmanship class this afternoon with our youth. There is a $25 scratch fee if any of these exhibitors would like to pay that. Otherwise, we will see you following senior showmanship. We also have a pre-entry for cattle, Mo Newell. Mo Newell, we have one entry right now in Stone Age Showmanship for tomorrow evening in the cattle division. This is the second call for our Barrow division. We have one entry in Berkshire. We have two entries in Chester White, two entries in Hampshire, one entry in Yorkshire, three entries in Light Cross, four entries in Dark Cross. Please be having the barrels ready and the makeup pen at this time. We'll be getting started here momentarily. For this evening's Barrow Show, your breed champion and reserve breed champion banners are sponsored by the Brower and Pivniska families. Thank you to the Brower and Pivniska families for your sponsorship of our breed and reserve breed champions in the Barrow division banners. We're ready to get back started now with our Barrow Show. We have one entry in Berkshire, one entry, weight class at 263.
The young lady's going to kick off our Barrow show with the lone entry Berkshire Barrow here, but she still does a great job getting out here and driving it. I really honestly wish this Barrow had some competition out here. There's a lot of things I like about him. It's a big-backed, big-boned Berkshire Barrow that still has a huge fresh cage laid in behind his blade there, and a pig that's fresh. He's pliable. He's plenty sound structured. Congratulations to that young lady.
Your champion Berkshire, Amelia Barton, representing Yukon City 4-H. Congratulations. We're now ready to move on to our Chester White. We have 2 entries in one class, weight class of 209 to 222. Following Chester White, we will move right into Hampshire. Hampshire, we have 2 entries in one class. Following Hampshire, we have 1 entry in one class in the Yorkshire. Following Yorkshire, we will have 3 classes, each with 1 entry in the white cross. Please be getting your animals ready. Check in the makeup pen. Right now, we're showing 1 class at Chester White with 2 entries.
A good pair of Chester Bears that honestly kind of come cut from the same mold here in terms of maturity pattern and the advantages that they have. To me, both of them have some attractive pieces to the front third of their skeleton. Both of them have plenty of back shape and just squareness as you get on top of them. One of them does so with better running gear. I like the young ladies to win. I think that bear is a little excessive in the set to his hock, but it lets him get out here and grab the green with just more reach, comfort, and just flexibility out here compared to the young man that stays 2. Young man in 2 has one that's just wildly square on the top side of his hip. Again, a bear that I love in terms of his expression. He's lean and just raw and ready to go out here. A bear that concaves just a bit too much in terms of his rib shape, and then 2 gets a little posted up in his rear skeleton there. Good pair of them though. Congratulations to both.
Well, results in Chester White in first place and your champion. Congratulations to Merritt Major representing Maple 4-H. Your reserve champion, Landon Barton, representing Union City FFA. We're now ready to move on to our Hampshire. We have 2 entries in one class, weight class of 210 to 217. Following Hampshire, we will have 1 entry in the Yorkshire.
I think a good pair of them with plenty of differences to talk about. I'm more comfortable, I guess, with the young man's thin-belted one to go ahead and win. I thought comparatively his head and his neck and his jawline and just toughness of skull and feature that he has is more current in today's time and today's show ring. That bear, when he does get his head up and he wants to collect himself out here, has a good balanced look. He's just fresher in the middle portion of his body, and again, stouter featured as you get on the lower third of his skeleton there. That bear doesn't get out and go as comfortable, and I know eventually we're going to have to hit the gas on him, and I don't know what his rear wheels will do past that, and that's why I think the pair's close. Young lady drives a bear she calls Ed, coming out here in second, one that is a little wider when you compare it back to our class winner, right behind his blade. He's got more dimension, he's got more width and spread all the way back through his pin bone there. I thought from profile is where he gets beat, gets a little deeper about his jaw, deeper in terms of his jowl, and just a little plainer featured, especially in terms of front foot and forearm there. Close pair though, congratulations to both.
In New Hampshire's first place Angel Champion, congratulations to Wyatt Dodd representing Mustang 4H. Your reserve champion is Clara Whitman representing Calumet FFA. We're going to reset the arena, be ready for one entry in Yorkshire, weighing 209. Following Yorkshire, we have 3 entries in 3 separate classes. In light cross, following the light cross, we have 2 classes with 4 total entries.
How much is it to get out of Showmanship? $25.
We also have a first call for our PV Livestock Show. PV Livestock Show will take place immediately before the Junior Showmanship. To be eligible for PV, you must be at least 4 years old, but no older than 8. 1 entry per person. You must be a resident of Canadian County or attend a school in Canadian County. You do not need to own your own animal, but you're responsible for finding an animal and equipment to use. If you're interested in showing in the PV Livestock Show division, please check in at the announcer stand. Right now, we have 1 entry in our Yorkshire, 1 entry being shown in the arena at this time. Following this class, we will move into light cross. Light cross, please be checking in the makeup pen.
Young man drives a single entry Yorkshire in here, and a bear I think we can find favor in as you study the center portion of his skeleton, just the bulky, powerful kind of a hog. As you study him coming at you and going away, maybe doesn't win a beauty contest out here in terms of design. That's perfectly okay. He's still going to be your winner here today. Congratulations to that young man.
Congratulations to your champion, Yorkshire. Landon Barton representing Union City FFA. We're now ready to move on to our light cross. We have 1 entry in class number 1, weight class of 170. 1 entry in class number 2, weight class of 200. 1 entry in class number 3, weight class of 243. Those 3 entries, please be checking in at this time. Now showing class number 1, light cross. In our light cross division, we're going to bring in all 3 exhibitors. Your class winner at a Class 1 Merit Major, representing Maple 4H. Your class winner at a Class number 2, Landon Barton, representing Union City FFA. And your class winner at a Class 3, Wyatt Dodd, representing Mustang 4H. We're bringing all 3 entries in to show for champion and reserve light cross.
We elected as a group to go ahead and just bring all three of the single entry classes out here. I'll spend a little brief amount of time talking all three of them and get you a champion in reserve. The young ladies that look like should have came out of class 1 here, a very good looking show pig. As you said, in the front third of his skeleton still has plenty of show pig power. As you get from there back into his bone work, into his center and upper blade, and the spread that he's got up high all the way until you get back behind him, that bear probably needs to be a little bit square and true as he travels right away from me, but a big-legged one that's still good looking from the side, still gets out and goes with the right motor and gear to him. Young man that would have been in the middleweight class here brings a very, very stout, powerful kind of a hog that's wide open everywhere you study him. One that maybe, again, just doesn't want to win the beauty contest from the side, a little bit lower fronted, ties his neck a little bit lower into his blade there, and I got to square him up just to shade from behind, but that's still a very, very good, powerful kind of a hog in your middleweight division. The young man's heavy on the far side there, may not want to cooperate right now, but that thing's big, fresh, and powerful, awesome in terms of his center cavity. Love the amount of rib shape he's got. Comes at you with a big view. Same story as you on the top side of him. That bear to me doesn't blend right into his ham loin, and I can't figure out why that is, because proportionally he makes sense to me from the side. He's got a good running gear. You step right behind him, he's square and he's ready to roll there. Again, I think it gets close between a pair of them out here. You can flip-flop back and forth. There's one of them to me that's more ready in where he's at today and still stays a little safer behind. I like the young man's heavy to be champion. Congratulations to him. Should have also followed that up with the young lady right behind me who's going to stay reserved. Congratulations to her as well.
Union Light Cross Division, your champion comes out of class number 3, Wyatt Dodd, representing Mustang 4H. Reserve champion comes out of class number 1, Merritt Major, representing Maple 4H. We're now ready to move forward to Dark Cross. We have one exhibitor in class number 1. We have 3 exhibitors in class number 2. Class number 1 has a weight class of 166. We're now ready for our first class of Dark Cross. All of our champions and reserve champions, please be standing by in the makeup pen for the grand drive.
A single entry out here in our cross drive, and again, kind of a shame for this bear because I do think he could stand some competition. A sporty looking show pig as he gets out here, stout but attractive about his skull and his ear set. A bear's got a very, very sharp back line laid into him, a fresh shape rolled up behind his blade, awesome center skeleton, still gets out and goes, extremely comfortable out of both ends of his movement there. Congratulations to this young lady.
First place out of class number 1, Josie Felton, representing El Reno FFA. We're now ready to move on to class number 2, looking for 3 exhibitors, weight class of 217 to 227.
A fun trio to study with lots of differences, and to me, the class winner needs to be the young man right in front of me, and I thought he did so pretty handedly. Just in terms of show bearer quality from the side, I thought he daylights the competition with some elevation up front. That guy's got really neat intangibles that are hard to put together. He's got a long but attractive set to his skull there, a bear that maybe not be the biggest footed, but he's huge in terms of his forearm, his hair, his fuzz, and his shag, and everything's completely on point. Again, a nickel short out of his hip, still great in terms of range of motion, great in terms of squareness going right away, a no-brainer place to go ahead and start. Decision was between 2 and 3 in this particular go, and for me, again, I said it earlier, but fortune favors the bold. Young lady, bear right in front of me, comes at you with more horsepower and bulk, leaves you with the same story. I wish he was wider behind from his hock down, just to match the amount of mass and power he had up high, and then to make a class-winning decision, he's got to be more elevated up front, needs to be a little longer from his eye to his snout there to truly balance up in terms of profile. The young lady that runs out in 3 does have one that's better looking. In terms of design from profile, that bear is more elevated up front. That bear is neater in terms of his jawline. To me, structurally, he gets a little too tied up. He's up in terms of his center spine. He gets a little too harsh-centered for me. Really good class. Congratulations to all 3.
The results of the class number 2, first place, congratulations to Wyatt Dodd, representing Mustang 4H. Second place, congratulations to Amelia Barton, representing Union City 4H. Third place, congratulations to Cheyenne Stuckey, representing Union City FFA. We're now ready to show for champion and reserve dark cross. We need to be having our Barrow champion and reserve champions. Please be making your way to the makeup pin. Be standing by for our grand champion selection.
Well, an awesome pair of them, and I think 2 bears that are just ultra fun to study. Totally different parts and pieces, and again, these things will finish out at totally different weights. And so I think you have to go back and forth, and in my mind, when you put them out into the world, and aside from just what they're in competition with, it gets close for me, because I think the big one could get beat in his respected weight division if he finishes out at a heavyweight by a little bit of length of hip, by a little bit of a tougher jaw, and a bear that maybe just balances a shade better than he does. Not saying he's not cool looking, he just proportionally doesn't make a whole lot of sense to me from the side, and I can't really figure him out. The young lady's lighter weight hog, one that you don't need to push into a heavyweight class for sure. He's plenty wide in the center portion of his blade. He's plenty wide as he gets right behind you. I still think he's very, very square for where he's at today, and he too has the power that you can hold on and make look right in the end, and do so in a very, very good manner. I think both of these pigs are really good in a lot of different areas. The one that I'm more comfortable with, the one that I'd be more excited to feed on and take forward from here is the young lady's lightweight. Congratulations to her.
Champion comes out of class number 1, Josie Felton, representing El Reno FFA. Reserve champion out of class number 2, Wyatt Dodd, representing Mustang 4H. We're now ready for our grand champion selection. Champion Berkshire, Amelia Barton, Union City 4H. Champion Chester Wright, Merit Major, Maple 4H. Champion Hampshire, Wyatt Dodd, Mustang 4H. Champion Yorkshire, Landon Barton, Union City FFA. Champion Light Cross, Wyatt Dodd, Mustang 4H. Champion Dark Cross, Josie Felton, El Reno FFA. Reserve champions, please be standing by. Your champion exhibitors are welcome into the arena at this time. Second call for exhibitors interested in the Pee Wee division. Pee Wee will take place immediately following Grand and Reserve Grand selection here in the arena this evening. To be eligible for Pee Wee, you must be between 4 and 8 years of age. Only one entry per person. You must be a resident of Canadian County and or attend a school in Canadian County. You do not need to own your animal, but it is your responsibility to find an animal and the equipment to use. If you're interested in showing in the Pee Wee division, please check in here at the announcer stand. Once again, Pee Wee division will take place immediately following the Grand and Reserve Grand Barrow selection. As our champion Barrows enter the arena, this is one last final call for Stone Age Showmanship. If you have anybody willing to participate in the Stone Age Showmanship this evening following the junior, intermediate, and senior division showmanship classes, please make your nominations here at the announcer stand before Grand and Reserve Grand selection. It is $5 to make a nomination. It is $25 to buy out. Our champion junior, intermediate, and senior showmanship exhibitors will be the judges for showmanship. If you have a reserve champion Barrow, please be standing by. Please stand by in the makeup pen if you have a reserve champion Barrow.
I think it's been an extremely competitive bear show, and again, irrespective of numbers, the quality has been tremendous, and the ones that we end up with out here are very, very good pigs that I'd love to take home and feed myself and be proud to own and proud to exhibit out here at your Canadian County Fair. And so my hat's off to you guys, you kiddos out here showing, the people in the back, the ag teachers and everybody that has got these things ready and got them to this point, because again, this show has been extremely high in quality, and I don't care how many we've looked at, they've been very good and it's been very, very enjoyable. I think the decision for Grand gets awful close, and I can't help it. In my mind, I try to project things, and I know we're at county, and some of these, this is their end point, but that's just where my head's at as a judge. And when you get them out here, you can find some differences between, I find myself saying, okay, well, how hard would this one be to fix feed-wise? What kind of problems can I forgive versus what am I willing to accept? I try to start everything at the foundation and build them from there up, and from there, I like to pick them a little stouter. I like to pick pigs that still make sense and balance and proportion the way they should from the side. There's one of them that hit me the hardest and still continues to do that. Young lady's crossbred is going to be Grand. Congratulations to her.
Grand champion Barrow comes out of Dark Cross, Josie Felton, representing El Reno FFA. The Grand Champion and Reserve Grand Champion Barrow belt buckles sponsored by the Barrow and Pivniska families. Thank you for your sponsorship. We now invite Wyatt Dodd, Reserve Champion Dark Cross, to into the arena for selection of Reserve Grand.
Well, my grand hit me the hardest, and I think for reserve it gets awful close. And there's some massive differences out here, and I think it just comes into contention. The Hamp's certainly in the mix of them there, and I wish that guy was a little more laid back in his blade. I wish he had more length of hip and just range of motion out here, because he has the parts and pieces it takes to win at the biggest level. I just don't know about him structurally and getting him to that point. And so that's my question marks on him. The light cross is another one of them I think is spot on the money until you get into his ham-loin junction, and I just never can get him to balance up right there, and so that leaves you with a question mark on him. I think he's wolfy. I think he's built right. I love the shape of his skull for how much power that he's got there back behind it. Same can be said with the dark cross that she brings back out here, one that I just thought was so intriguing to study. And again, he may not make the most sense to me proportionally. I think his head's longer than his hip and longer than his length of neck, but man, once you get past that, that thing's wild in terms of his elevation, but still shortness of back, center body shape, and just has a hind leg that's got plenty of reach and stays safe and secure out here. Please congratulate the young man in the orange shirt. I'm going to use his dark cross for reserve. Good job, buddy. Good job, sweetheart.
Reserve Green Champion Barrow comes out of the dark cross as well. Wyatt Dodd representing Mustang 4H. Once again, your Grand Champion, Reserve Grand Champion Barrow belt buckles were sponsored by the Brower and Pivniska families. Thank you for your sponsorship of this evening's show. Well, we set the arena. We have 3 exhibitors in our PB division. Those exhibitors need to be getting ready at this time. Our PB exhibitors are going to be Knox Putnam representing Mustang 4H, Deacon Major representing Calumet, and Declan Grubbs representing Calumet. Once those exhibitors are ready, check in at the entry gate. We'll be ready for our PB. Following our PB, we will have our junior, intermediate, and then senior showmanship. To be eligible for our junior showmanship, you must be ages 8 to 12. Intermediate showmanship, you must be ages 13 to 15. Senior showmanship, ages 16 to 19. Following our senior showmanship, the winners of our junior, intermediate, and senior showmanship will be the judges for the Stone Age showmanship. Stone Age exhibitors must be ages 19 and infinity.
All right, judge asked.
Second call for our PV class. We have 3 exhibitors, Knox Putnam, Deacon Major, and Declan Grubbs. Make your way to the entry gate. We're now ready to show our PV division. PV exhibitors are ages 4 to 8. This is your class. We have 2 exhibitors in our Pee-wee age division. Junior exhibitors in showmanship, please be checking in at the entry gate. Junior exhibitors, please check in at the entry gate. Once again, junior showmanship is for youth ages 8 through 12. Please check in at the entry gate.
If you guys would, put your hands together for both these young men out here doing a phenomenal job.
Let's give another round of applause to our future 4-Hers, Knox Putnam and Deacon Major. Knox Putnam representing Mustang 4-H and Deacon Major representing Calumet. Congratulations, guys, with a job well done. We're now ready to move on to our junior showmanship. Those exhibitors should be checking in and making a lineup at the entry gate. Junior showmanship is for youth ages 8 through 12. Intermediate, please be standing by. You'll follow this class. Intermediate is ages 13 through 15. Our senior exhibitors are ages 16 through 19. Be standing by. As it currently stands, we have 9 exhibitors in the Stone Age Showman. 9 exhibitors in Stone Age Showmanship.
Well, as a judge, I can tell you the one thing, if you thought I did bad judging the show, then you're certainly going to think I do a terrible job judging showmanship. It's not my strong suit. I'm not great at it. My most important thing that I want to tell all the kids as we go forward, I know we're starting on juniors, but all the way through this deal, just keep listening to whoever you're working with at home and just keep continuing to get better. Number one thing for you younger kiddos that are out here right now, for me, is just learning how to keep the pig going, take big wide circles and no short stops and turns. What's challenging right now is these pigs know this ring by now. They're wanting to fight it. I know it's probably been a hot day for them, and so they're tired of it. And so you have to learn how to have endurance at home, get them out for a long amount of time, even when mom and dad are being mean about it. I thought two of them did an incredible job out here. The young lady right in front of me, the young man right here in the orange shirt. I thought both of these two just had their pigs heads up and rolling, big wide circles, used the whole ring. I'm not necessarily one that has to have them right under my feet to see them. I thought between the two, it was awful close. I may have asked an unfair question because the young lady's showing a gilt. She was uncertain on the weight. A young man hit it dead on the money. I'm going to use the young man in the orange shirt to win. Congratulations to him.
Thank you, sir.
Good job, buddy.
Your junior showman, congratulations to Wyatt Dodd. Congratulations again to Wyatt Dodd, representing Mustang 4-H. We're now ready for our intermediate showmanship. Intermediate exhibitors are ages 13 to 15. Please check in, line up at the entry gate. We're now ready for you. Senior showmanship, please be standing by. Senior, once again, is for youth ages 16 to 19. Intermediate showmanship, youth ages 13 to 15. This is your class. We're now showing intermediate showmanship. Final call, intermediate showmanship. Final call.
They're saying at least.
Judge, this is your class.
I told this young man, I guess nobody in the back wanted the heat out here. He comes out and everybody else went home. And so ultimately he's going to be your winner. But man, I wish some more would have came out here because he does an incredible job. I don't want to wear his gilt out anymore. Please give him a big round of applause.
Put your hands together for your intermediate showman, Jordan McBain, representing Mustang 4-H. We're not going to be set the arena, but ready for our senior division once again. And finally, our senior division is youth ages 16 to 19. Those exhibitors need to be checking in, making a line right now at the entry gate. Following our senior showmanship, we will announce the herdsmanship award. We'll line up our Stone Age showman. We'll get ready for our final class of the evening, Stone Age showmanship. We're looking for 9 elderly exhibitors for that class.
Elderly.
Senior exhibitors, this is your final call. Senior exhibitors.
Okay.
Gate is shut. Judge, this is your class, senior showmanship.
I think both these young ladies do an incredible job of just getting out here and getting these things driven and presented. I asked them a couple questions, and to me, that becomes important, and it's, again, a sorting factor if you just have to pick which one's your favorite. I thought both of them did a great job. Showmanship for me starts, especially if it's after the show, it starts the first time you hit the ring, and so I remember the first time both of you guys did. You guys have done a great job all day, and so I hope you keep that up as we move forward and as you think about that into further shows that you get on down the line with. I thought one individual between the two answer the questions just a little bit sharper maybe than the other one. The young lady on my left is going to be your champion. Congratulations to her on a very, very tight race.
Your senior champion showman is Gabby Natha, representing Union City FFA. Wyatt Dodd, Jordan McBain, and Gabby Natha, please make your way to the announcer stand. You will be our judges for Stone Age Showmanship. As we reset, get our elderly back into the arena for Stone Age Showman. We have 9 exhibitors in that class. We'll make our announcement at this time for herdsmanship. Put your hands together. Our herdsmanship award this evening in the Swine Show goes to El Reno. Congratulations to El Reno for winning the herdsmanship this evening. Stone Age Showman exhibitors, please be making your way to the makeup pen. It is your time to shine. We have 9 entries in Stone Age Showmanship. Sean McBain, Troy Stevens, Evan Bruce, Jaden Bishop, Terry Harland, Mr. Major, Mr. McGill, Derek Pearson, and Bobby Shelton. You have been nominated. It is your time to shine, Stone Age Showman. You have 3 judges waiting for your attention in the arena. Your 3 celebrity judges this evening is Wyatt Dodd with Mustang 4-H, Jordan McBain with Mustang 4-H, and Gabby Nafa with Union City FFA. Those are your judges this evening. Stone Age exhibitors, you may enter the arena at the ring stewards' direction. We're doing the pigskin shuffle here on the AstroTurf. We have 1 exhibitor down on the 5-yard line. The exhibitors, you are still being judged. Our judges are in the corner in conference, but you are still being judged. This may or may not have anything to do with the judge's decision, but a little bit of crowd involvement doesn't hurt anybody. If you are here in support of Troy Stevens, let me hear ya. Mr. Major, Mr. McGill, Bobby Shelton, Sean Bozo McBain, Derek Pearson, Terry Harland, Evan Bruce, Jaden Bishop. I don't know if that helped at all, judges.
Like all three of us.
You want to? He has to say it though. He has to call it.
I gotta call it.
Call it. Call
But
it.
who we go to is the one.
Well, me and the kids have a split decision out here, so it gets a little challenging, I guess. They feel pretty passionate one way. I feel pretty passionate the other way. And so what we're going to do is this guy right here in the blue shirt and the big bald guy right there are going to get in the center of the ring and play rock, paper, scissors for it.
I forfeit.